pregnant and new in town, and so achingly desperate to find a friend, someone in this perpetually sunny town whose conversation extends past surfing and mortgage rates. Our first meeting is one of those awkward couple blind dates set up by mutual acquaintances who are much too Carmel Valley for real friendship. Your new baby is cooing in cream-colored curls. You're rehabbing an old bungalow in that bootstrap pre-Pinterest way, and we talk for hours about fitting an office in what used to be a closet and that wall-eyed plumbing expert at Lowe's. You're snarky and competent and passionate, and I fall more than a little in love, in that deep sigh, I've found my people way. We decide to share a nanny. You tell me where to buy cheap Mexican pottery. There are a couple other women you've met in the neighborhood, and we chat and make plans, and suddenly we're a tribe. And I'm surprised thrilled in that closet geek way to be included. All of you are luminous, professional and driven and witty, and mothers too over time. But parenthood is only one slice of your pie. Our gatherings are hilarious, so much laughter and whiskey. We roll our eyes now at the acquaintance who first introduced us. Last time we saw her, she had this ridiculous high chair condom to protect her daughter from germs. We all snort, proud that our kids eat dirt and lisp swear words. You are so my people. We pass around maternity clothes and work clothes, which is fantastic because you all have better taste than I do. Our families spend a weekend ripping out wallpaper and carpet from a new house for one of you and building railings at a mountain cabin for another. I wear an old bridesmaid's gown and a paper cone hat to play princess when your daughter turns 4. We fall into a routine for holidays. One of you hosts Halloween, and another makes latkes and brisket for Hanukkah. 4th of July and New Year's Eve are at my house. Sometimes other people come to our parties, but they aren't invited back when they leave early to put their kids to bed. Our kids fall asleep in corners and under the dining room table or run in sugar-addled circles while we ignore them. Kids are not the center of our lives. We raise them tough in this tribe. My daughter goes through a rough phase, growling at people who ask her stupid questions like how she likes kindergarten or why her socks don't match. And you all tease me about my little sociopath. About my son's piercing voice, you joke, he sounds like Elmo on crack. You're not being mean, you're just saying it like it is. Sometimes I jump in with the insults first because it stings a little less, but I should be less sensitive. We meet every month or so for drinks at a series of aren't we cool dive bars for Jameson or cheap beer. Sorry, whistle stop. We vent about our jobs and our kids. One of you jokes about always changing into your pajamas like you're in a middle school locker room, ensuring no skin shows so your husband doesn't get any ideas. And we all laugh and try to one-up your story. I start to notice that we dance around the big stuff, though. One of you toward the beginning shared a struggle you were having in your marriage, but it never comes up again. Another of you has melanoma, twice. And we brainstorm crazy tattoo ideas to highlight your scars, but no one mentions the Botox and the Harley and the weeks, months now you're spending in Mexico away from your family. I thought it was our job as friends to ask the obvious next questions, but none of us do. One of you starts ordering soda water instead of a cocktail, and we all just look the other way. We're too busy laughing. And sometimes I feel like, I leave feeling like I ate a donut when I was craving lentil soup. But donuts are delicious, right? And I should just enjoy them. I'm being needy. You're my tribe. My life gets complicated in that sloppy way that life does, and I feel desperately alone in my mess. You've always been there with formal wear or last-minute babysitting or power tools, but there's no precedent in our tribe for emotional burdens. And I worry that you won't be as careful with the raw pieces of my soul as I need you to be. I test out some B-list topics, the fringe issues that are tender but not oozing, like my crazy plan to run away to South America for 6 months with my kids. Why would you want to do that, one of you asks, lips curled. Aren't you scared? What about your job? What about the money? What about your kids? Middle school is rough. You cover in an orgy of excruciating detail every eventuality that has haunted me for months. I'd never do that. Maybe it's wonder or confusion, but it feels like disdain. So I curl up a little and I take my B-list topics to some other women I've been seeing on the side. Wow, that must be difficult, they say, and you're so brave. And here's another way to think about it. And it feels revolutionary to be messy and complicated and conflicted and have someone nod and say, I hear you, sister. I think a lot about joining their tribe. In this messy phase, I go all dear sugar and meditation and therapy and leaning into the discomfort and owning my vulnerability and all of that other stupid, root-shakingly powerful crap that comes when you're trying to figure yourself out. I am mucking around in the dark, swampy parts of my soul, and it is just too difficult to haul myself up onto your party boat as you cruise by. I try to drift away, but our families are braided together, and I don't know how to unweave myself. One day, after some Brene Brown and Chardonnay, I decide that my approach is wrong. You are my tribe. You have been my tribe for a decade. Surely you too want this friendship to be deep and nourishing and not just scotch and sarcasm. So we meet for drinks, and I take a deep breath, and I find that core of love I have for our years together. And I tell you that I want us to be the kind of people that share the complex and authentic tangles in our lives and hold each other up through the worst times. That I have this with other friends, but they are so many time zones away. That you are my tribe and my village, and I love you, and I want to feel like I can tell you anything and you can love me back through it all. At least that's what I'm trying to say, but that isn't what you hear. What kinds of things don't you tell us? Why wouldn't you share that with us? We're not judging you. Why would you think we're judging you? It's an inquisition. I'm the hostile witness and you're a panel of prosecutors. And I'm floundering and I'm flailing and my words come out different shape than they felt in my heart. And you just watch. Arms crossed, hurt looks on your faces. And then you tell me you do share your deep stuff with this group. At least the deepest stuff you ever share with anyone. Guess I'm just not much of a sharer, you shrug like it's no big deal and you're cool with it. And that's when the Grand Canyon opens between us. I'm standing on my ledge, squinting across at you, holding in one hand the image I had of the tough tribe member I'm supposed to be, and my doubts about being vulnerable, and the self-judgment about how messy I am, and all my spiky, complicated love for you. And in my other hand is a fragile kernel of self-acceptance from my gooey center, my pride in the path that I'm on, and yin to that yang, all of my crushing disappointment in you. And I can't carry both loads. So I set down the self-doubt and my love, and I walk away. But it's not that easy. There's no script for this thing we're doing. Are we breaking up? What's the 40-year-old friend equivalent of dividing up your CDs and returning his sweatshirt? I didn't think of friendship as binary, all in or all out. Isn't there an option to just turn the volume down a bit? But I'm not sure how to get to that place without dragging us all back into the conversation that's now 6 months old and hulking over every email and every awkward run-in in the neighborhood. I miss being part of our gang. You're everywhere in my life. My t-shirts are covered in our inside jokes. My fridge is papered with photos of your kids. Whiskey smells like our good times. I want to erase the ache I feel when I think of you all. I want our friendship to be simple and uncomplicated and for our kids to still see each other. So there's a phone conversation where I take all the blame I can hold, but you want me to own it all, to drag the cross through all 12 stations. You want me to take back everything I said, tell you that I was wrong about you being occasionally judgmental and perhaps the teensiest bit emotionally closed. You expect me to hand-stitch our group back together on my knees in penance. You are still shimmering with anger and hurt, and I hang up. So now there are Facebook photos of camping trips and dinner parties we weren't invited to. My son keeps asking why we're not going to your house for Hanukkah. My daughter is 12 now, so she doesn't ask. She just watches me closely when your names come up. It festers, this weird no-closure place. I extend an olive branch with a New Year's invitation, a light joke about getting the band back together. I get a yes. And then you obviously discuss it, and your RSVPs all change to no. It's been 18 months since that first conversation went terribly wrong when I see your kids at our 4th of July parade. I am extra special, super nice, but they back away nervously, like I'm a snake. When I visit your picnic blanket, your spines all stiffen, your husband's fidget, avoid eye contact. And this is the moment when I realized that there is no bridge back across this canyon. That my fantasies, that you would someday see my point of view, that you'd stop casting me as the villain, that we would find a non-awkward relationship where I'd be at your kids' graduations and weddings, they're just fantasies. I realize you can't help your hard candy shell any more than I can help my soft, gooey center, but I spent too much time lugging around my hurt, and your story of what happened calcified into something too different from mine. So if there was a rewind button, I would play some scenes differently. I wouldn't budge from that first conversation until I knew you heard what my heart was trying to say. I would not waste 2 years staging imaginary conversations with you, trying to erase my squirming discomfort that you don't think I'm a nice person. But I would leave other scenes alone. I would still embrace my own messiness. I would still leap directly into the arms of that other tribe, the one I was cheating on you with. I would still get wistful nostalgic when I sip whiskey, thinking about all the fun we used to have back when we were a tribe. But there is no rewind button, and I have spent enough time with the could-haves and should-haves and why didn't yous. I can wish and hope and regret and replay, but at the end of all that exhausting emotional drama is this one small, immutable fact. We are really, truly, officially, permanently, with no looking back, no longer friends.